might be a micro quitter. Hi, I'm Amy, and tonight's Live Around 5 is ways that we kind of achieve our goals less slowly because it's the thousand cuts, right? It's the death of a thousand cuts. Because while you might say to me, that's crazy, I am always focused on my goals, but I am frustrated. I don't seem to make as much progress as I want. There's a lot of different quitting going on in our world today, right? There's the grand quitting. I quit, I leave. That's one thing. And sometimes that's actually the best thing to do. But what's more common is we've learned about silent quitting, right? I'm staying at work, but I'm not really working the way I should. And if you're like me, that's just nothing that's in alignment with who you are, right? It feels bad. And what's happening instead for a lot of us when we're looking at our goals, health and business in particular, is that we're micro quitting. And examples of micro quitting would be when you procrastinate because you delay a task over and over and over, and eventually maybe you don't even do it, even though you know it would be important to do, and you make excuses. Well, I know I really need to start a blog, but I can't yet because I don't have the software. I know I really need to start getting my links from Amazon up, but I'm not going to do that yet because I don't want to offend anybody. I know I've been told I need to show up myself on the internet, but I don't want to do that because I'm not comfortable with my own body. I know that I'm not supposed to eat sugar, but it was a birthday party. I had a couple pieces of cake. That's not a big deal. Those are all examples of procrastinating on the promise that you made to yourself. And I don't know about you, but I'm guilty of almost all of them at some point or other. And it was only when I learned about micro quitting that I realized I was doing that here and there. Next is going to be anytime you have negative self talk. Now, I have a really strong boundary around this after many, many years of work and lots of friends who have held me accountable. But if you are ever negatively talking to yourself, oh, I could never do that. I'm not that smart. I'm not that powerful. I don't have what it takes to make that happen. I'm stupid. I'm horrible. I'm the worst person I know. These are things I've heard women say about themselves in particular. And honestly, I think men can be just as hard on themselves. So if you have negative self talk, let me tell you something right now. Your body hears that. Your heart hears that. Your spirit hears that. Your soul hears that. And you've got to stop because you are none of those negative things. You may have made mistakes. Welcome to the human race. We all have made mistakes that we think are just humiliating, impossible to be forgiven for. And that's just a lie. You can be forgiven. You are forgiven already. Okay. So negative self talk is doing nothing but holding you back. It's a form of micro quitting. Next would be distractions, allowing unrelated activities to steal your focus. Well, I promised I would be doing this in my work this week, but a friend of mine called and they really needed some help. And I'm really good at doing flowers. So I helped them all week doing flowers. And now, if I'm honest, I'm exhausted. Would you say that if you were at a 9 to 5 job being paid? Absolutely. You'd be like, I'd love to help you, but I've got to go to work this week. Your business and your health goals are no different than that 9 to 5. So I'm going to insist that you start putting your goals first and stop micro quitting in that way. And then another example is just settling for mediocrity. What does that mean? It means knowing that you can do amazing things and choosing to not go the full distance. It's choosing to be okay with okay. Now, there are times, and I'm talking to my Virgo perfectionists out there, where that's not a bad strategy, where you say done is better than perfect. Bravo, that's amazing. Brava, that's fantastic. But if what you're constantly doing is not fulfilling your true potential, that's a form of micro quitting. And it's really damaging to you over time because you're going to start to believe that you're mediocre when you're absolutely not. So what do? How do you stop micro quitting? Well, first of all, you got to be aware that you're doing it. And a lot of the times I think we just think we're struggling through achieving a goal when in fact we're trying to kind of quit on ourselves. And so being aware of it, now that you know some of the signs, that should really help you, right? So just watch what you're doing over the next couple of weeks. And if you start hearing yourself do any of those familiar things, be like, oh my goodness, I'm doing it. I am smart. I am better than that. I'm not going to let myself down, right? Next is to set clear goals. When you know, like one of the goals that I have is I have several things that I'm going to do every month without fail. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and it is September 20th. So the only way for me to achieve these goals is to get them done in the next 10 days. I have set clear goals and a clear timeline. And so I'm going to work harder these last 10 days than I did the first 20 on the goals that I still promised myself I would achieve. So I know exactly what I need to do. Next is to get an accountability partner. This is something I do as a coach for people often. And the idea is that you say, please hold me accountable. I'm inviting you and asking you to help me stay on track. Please encourage me when I get discouraged. Please check in with me. And just knowing that you are asking someone to do that, you're reporting to someone, you're confessing. It's not just like looking at your partner one more week and going, nobody's making money right now. Nobody's losing weight right now. Nobody's getting in shape right now. Nobody's mental health is getting better right now. That's just a fib you're telling yourself and your partner, right? So when you set an accountability partner, and I don't want it to be the person you live with and you love with, right? It's got to be someone outside, maybe someone else in your business, maybe a friend who is trying to reach a separate goal, and you can hold each other accountable for your goals. Like, I'm trying to get my mental health strong and she's trying to get her physical health strong, and we're going to be in this together, something like that. But you've got to have accountability. And then next is mindfulness. Practice staying present and focusing on the tasks that you need to do to minimize your procrastination. The way I recommend you approach this is to get things done early in your work day, whatever that day is. Maybe your work day doesn't start until 2, but you putz around until 5. And then from 5 to 6, you really put on the heat. Why don't you start getting that heat at 2? Right? If you begin your workday at 9, let's start your workday at 9. But let's really focus so we don't even give ourselves a chance to procrastinate. And I'm going to tell you 2 things about this. The first thing is that some days it's going to flow like water. It's going to be so easy and so simple, and you're going to get your stuff done, and it's going to feel amazing. But other days, the second part of that, it's going to feel like walking through mud. And I need you to stick with it on both days, because both days will garner you different benefits, right? And then next is going to be to learn from setbacks, to say, you know what? I'm not going to quit because I didn't reach my goal. I'm going to actually learn from it and hold myself accountable and look at where I have opportunities to make different choices, instead of just being like, I've tried my 5th multi-level marketing company and they just don't work. That's not true. That's not true. There's a common denominator there. And tough love tells me to tell you that that common denominator is you, right? And so learn from your setbacks. Say, all right, the first one I did just wasn't a good fit. It wasn't exactly what I should do, but here's what I learned from it, and I'm taking it to the next level, right? Next is going to be to do actual positive self-talk. I want you to replace any doubt with affirmations. And think about the affirmations that might be helpful for you. Really write them out, right? Think, I easily accomplish my goals each day in simple steps in speedy time, right? However you want to say it. One of the things that I have are specific goals that I want to reach, and I write them every day as if they are real. So my positive self-talk, so many years ago, I would write, I have a 6-figure income stream. And then we achieved that. I have more than one 6-figure income stream. And then we achieved that. So now my next goal, you guys, it's huge. I want to achieve a 7-figure income stream, or all income streams being 7 figures total. And that's a huge leap. It's huge. So I had to break that down into smaller goals. But boy, I have positive self-talk about that every day with affirmations. Every morning I have a list of affirmations I say and a list of things I write as if they are true. And I'm telling you, it puts it out into the universe. It puts it in my head. It has me looking for opportunities where I can serve people and where I can grow. And that's all you need. Next is going to be to remember at the end of the day that you're doing the best you can, right? Be good to yourself, but realize if you're micro quitting, the only person you're micro quitting on is you. And it's time for you to show up for yourself every single day. I'm Amy. That's tonight's Live Around 5. I can't wait to see you back here tomorrow, Live Around 5. And I hope you're